नमस्ते गुरुजी। जय गुरुजी महाराज। जय गुरुजी साध संगत जी। शुक्राना गुरुजी महाराज का सेवादार टीम समस्त गुरु परिवार का स्वागत करती है। आज हमारे बीच में अनीता कुमार आंटी जी उपस्थित हैं, जो कि संग शेयरिंग करेंगी। सेशन को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए आकाश सेठी अंकल जी, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। प्लीज सेशन को आगे बढ़ाएं। जय गुरुजी अंकल।
जय गुरुजी वासन अंकल। जय गुरुजी अनीता कुमार आंटी। और आई रिकॉल 1998 जब पहली दफे गुरुजी के फिजिकल रूप के सामने हमें दर्शन करने का मौका मिला था, तो उस समय से रिकॉल करता हूं कि दाएं वाली अगर हम गुरुजी को फेस कर रहे हैं तो दाएं वाली रो में सबसे आगे एक सौम्य, शालीन और शांत व्यक्तित्व की मालिक अनीता कुमार आंटी बैठा करती थी। और गुरुजी का जो आदेश था, नो सोशलाइजिंग। बाकी लोगों को वो कानून तोड़ते कभी कभार देखा, आपको कभी नहीं देखा। दैट मच आई कैन रिकॉल। इतना मैं याद कर सकता हूँ। और सत्संग आपका इसी कारण से शायद मैंने आज तक नहीं सुना। और हम लोग तो निसंतान थे उस समय तक। हमें संतान नहीं थी। उस कष्ट के मारे हम गुरुजी की शरण में पहुंचे थे। और व्हाट द सूफी सेंट्स प्रिस्क्राइब, इनके जो अर्लीस्ट सूफी सेंट रहे हैं रूमी, उन्होंने कुछ ऐसा कहा है जिसका हिंदी उर्दू में तर्जुमा कहता है कि ए मेरे दिल, तू गम से दोस्ती कर ले। ए मेरे दिल, तो गम से दोस्ती कर ले। अगर हो गई तो क्या ही तेरा नसीब होगा। अगर हो गई तो क्या ही तेरा नसीब होगा। तू अपने दोस्त को लगा रहा होगा गले, और वो खुदा, हमारे गुरुजी खुदा के अलावा कुछ नहीं है, और वो खुदा तुझे गमज़दा देख के तेरे करीब होगा। तुझे गमज़दा देख के तेरे करीब होगा। So with these thoughts, this prescription happened on its own for us. And how it happened for you, Anita Kumar Aunty, please go ahead and share your lovely satsang, please.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. So, am I audible? आप सुनाई दे रही?
आप बिल्कुल साफ सुनाई दे रही हैं।
ठीक है जी। So I will start from the beginning. It's always a good place to start. तो मैं जब गुरुजी के पास आई थी, पहले तो बहुत रेजिस्टेंस थी, बिकॉज गुरुजी के पास आने से पहले मैं बहुत गुरुज एंड बाबाज एंड पंडित के पास जा चुकी थी। देन मेरी एक सोशल फ्रेंड थी जो एक्चुअली बहुत बड़ी संगत है गुरुजी की, बैम्बी सिंह। तो वो मुझे हमेशा सोशली बोलती रहती थी जब मिलती थी कि मेरे गुरुजी आ रहे हैं तो मेरे साथ चलेगी। तो आई वुड resist, she would insist, and then finally I remember मेरा बहुत life threatening asthma attack हुआ था, and every changing season I would get asthma attacks, पर उस particular year में 97 में मेरा बहुत ज़्यादा it was a very severe life threatening attack. And then she again said to me, but I survived the attack. But she said again कि मेरे गुरुजी आ रहे हैं, you have to come. During that time, from head to toe, my skin was covered and my face was deformed. My eyes would shut. If I smiled, my face would crack. So I had a very ghastly rash all over my face and body. And she again said one day, she said, please come to my Guruji. And then she just landed up in my house. She didn't really ask. She just said, मैं तुझे ले रही हूँ and हम जा रहे हैं. It was Thursday evening, 6 p.m. I remember the day very clearly, as if it was yesterday. And she came and she took me in a car and she was sharing her satsang. I didn't even know what satsang was back then. And she just started talking about Guruji, about her life. But it was falling on deaf ears, to be honest. I wasn't listening. मैं सुन ही नहीं रही थी। मैंने कहा पता नहीं क्या बोल रही है, एंड बोलती गई, मैं बिल्कुल नहीं सुना। इट वाज फॉलिंग ऑन डेफ ईयर्स। मैं बाहर देख रही थी विंडो के बाद। मैंने कहा चलो इसको oblige करने के लिए मैं जा रही थी, बिकॉज मैं बहुत सफर कर रही थी। और मैंने देखा कि कोई कोई पंडित कहता था 1102, कोई कहता था बाबा 1202. I realized in life that nobody can really change your destiny. तो ये गुरुजी भी एक और बाबा होंगे. So it was Thursday evening, and then as we walked into Chota Mandir, Guruji was sitting on his gaddi. Bambi had already informed Guruji कि मैं लेके आ रही हूँ किसी को. So when I walked in, there was a gravitational pull. And as I bowed, I just knew this is it. There was so much love exuding from Guruji that I felt I have arrived home. I never felt at home anywhere. Born and bred, raised in England, I felt a little bit of a misfit there also. The only, colored girl in a white school. So I always felt like I didn't have a sense of belonging. Then I came to India. I still didn't feel like a sense of belonging because now I was an Indian girl with a British accent. So again, I felt like a misfit. The only place in the world I began to fit in is with Guruji. And that was a big one for me because I had no identity before I met Guruji. I was a nobody. I would always stand out like a sore thumb. In India, it was funny when I got married. I had this typical British humor and wit, and nobody understood because India was not exposed at that time. There was no social media. There was no media. In fact, there was only that Doordarshan, I remember, when I got married in India. And there was no exposure to any comedies, any, foreign movies or anything. So I lost my personality because I said people just stared at me as if I'm some, alien. So it was like when Guruji said, "Tu aa gayi, tu hun roz aaya kar." And that acceptance of just me, of the way I was with all my skin issues and my health issues and my karmic baggage, he embraced me like no other. Like he said, कि सिर्फ माँ बाप भी नहीं काम आंदे जदों तुहानू दुख हुंदा है, सिर्फ रब काम आंदा है. तो he said तू रोज आया कर और रोज लंगर करना है. I was so grateful to Bambi. I said, wow, he's embraced me, he's loved me. And there was no skepticism in my mind कि ये ordinary guru है या ordinary pandit है या ordinary baba है. And of course we did not know that he's divinity himself who's descended the earth to uplift all of humanity, to uplift us. But I just knew this is an extraordinary, persona sitting before me. And I don't know who he is, but he was radiant and so resplendent like the moon and the sun that I felt at home. That my soul connected to his soul. It just became, I felt at home, I felt at peace, I had this sense of hope, a flame of, faith, you could say. It was ignited in me because as I said, I was suffering immeasurably. With my skin, I couldn't smile because it would literally crack. And I was very hideous to look at. I avoided my own reflection every time through a window or a mirror. So when he said Roz Ayakar, I took it literally. I started coming every day, having the Langar Prasad every day. Then it was changing season in Delhi. And as I was sitting with him, this was the first, I can call it miracle, but of course we know that it's his absolute grace that befalls each one of us. There are no miracles, like Guruji said, chamatkar nu namaskar hunda hai. Jab Rab chamatkar nahi karda, tab tak tusi Rab vich vi nahi mande. But we know it's a soul journey. It's very profound, it's very deep with Guruji. It's moment to moment love. And Guruji, I said, Guruji, mujhe saans nahi aa raha. With the changing season, I said, Guruji, mujhe saans nahi aa raha. Mujhe जाना है. Hospital जाना है. मैं मतलब जब से इंडिया आई हूँ शादी के बाद, मैं हर changing season hospital जाती हूँ, steroid injections लेती हूँ, तभी मैं ठीक होती हूँ. तो गुरुजी कहते आज किधर ही नहीं जाना, चुप करके लंगर कर. तो I said, Guruji, मुझे steroid injections चाहिए. And I started crying. I was all of 32. I was at exactly the same age as my elder daughter today. And I said, Guruji, मुझे steroid injections चाहिए. So he said, जदों बाहर जूती उतार दी, if sunburst छट के आया कर, अयो तेरे steroid injections है. Looking at them, Langar Prasad. I said, "Ye Guruji, aloo gobi dal," and I started crying. I thought maybe he didn't understand. And I said, "Guruji, aloo gobi dal hai." So he said, "क्या ना तनु इफ्सन बर्स अपनी जूती दे नाल उतार के क्या कर यू तेरे स्टेरॉइड इंजेक्शंस अगर आज अगर कल्याण कराना है पूरा लंगर करना है." So then one sangat sitting next to me, she nudged me and she said, "Guru का हुक्म नहीं टालते, आप खा लो, जितना खा सकते खा लो." खाया. As I bowed to him to take agya, I just said in my head, "I'm not coming here again." He's so merciless. So Guruji responds immediately, "Kal aa jaye, kalyan kitna ऐश कर." I said, "Kya ऐश करूं?" And then I said, in my head, "I'm not coming here again and I'm going straight to hospital." So I was getting up from his, charan. And then suddenly he said, "Hun hospital jaan di lod nahi. Car jaake aram na soe, kalyan kitta." So that kalyan was translated into my asthma, which I was born with, and had a very deep impact on my life, because I was, from the moment I was born, I was on steroids and hydrocortisones. And suddenly I realized, after leaving the mandir, after consuming the langar prasad, I realized I'm breathing normal, like never before. Like literally never before. So I said, "Ye coincidence hai," because my human mind interjected. And I said, "This is just a coincidence." But many changing seasons came and went, and I never had asthma ever again. I was never hospitalized for asthma. That was a very big one for me, because all my life it crippled me. It was crippling to the extent that anyway I was the only colored girl in a white school in England. But even during sports time, the PE time, I would sit in a corner and stand out like a sore thumb, because I was not permitted to play, because I have a hole in the heart, asthma. So naturally, I was the only, student who would sit on the side and watch the other players. So I was not able to participate in any sports whatsoever while growing up. So that was a huge relief. And also then my understanding of where I was sitting began to make sense, that this is heaven on earth in the literal sense. There was always issues at home, domestically in my marriage. There was issues with my health still. My skin was still oozing with blood and pus. So, like you said, to roz aaya kar, roz langar kar, my journey continued. I never stopped going. It was in those days, if you remember back in the day, Guruji used to call us every day. It was 7 days a week. And then he tapered it to, he gave different Sangha, different days. And then the following year, he calls me and he said, "Tu Shraddha mein pass ho gayi, tenu nimbu ti tarah na chode. Ja tera skin cancer theek kitta. Hun tu bathroom di batti na band kitta agar bathroom jaan to pehle. Aino kolo na darya kar." So when he said something so personal, I looked at him astonished. I was absolutely dumbstruck. And I said, how does he know something so personal? He said, immediately responded, "हैरान क्यों रही है? सस्ते विच रब मिल गया ना, तो ना बैठ भी जांदा है, गल्ला भी कर लैंदा है, खा भी लैंदा है। रब दी ते कदर ही नहीं हुई, तो पता ही नहीं मैं कौन है। जदों मैं चला जाऊंगा, तद समझ आएगी कि रब आया सी, पर रब दी कदर नहीं हुई। तुसी अपनी शॉपिंग लिस्ट लैंदे हो कि मैनू ए दे दो, नवा मकान दे दो, मैनू प्रमोशन दे दो। जो मैं देना आया वो तो कोई मंगदा ही नहीं है। दुनिया दी चीज़ां तुसी मंगदे रहंदे हो." So when he said that, something, so I knew he was beyond a regular guru, because if he knows that what I switch off the bathroom light, which not even my own family was aware of, then he knows everything, because that was the most personal thing he had said to me. And one day he did say, he said, "Car jayengi na aaj, to a jaal tere bade ne car de pare, change nahi hunde jaal, safai rakhi di hai." After that, I became like a cleanliness freak. But he said, "Jaal hai." I said, "Nahi Guruji." I became very defensive and I said, "Nahi Guruji, mera ghar bahut saaf rehta hai, to koi jaal nahi hai." Kehte, "Jaake dekh." I went home and actually there were cobwebs outside my home. Again, he gave so many hints. And I thought, okay, he has a divine vision. He's very elevated. He can see things that, you know, which are beyond the normal spectrum, the human spectrum. And then fast forward a little bit. 1 week before he left his body, he said, to, you know, little teachings he kept giving me, kept imparting. Like ik chup so sukh. Like one day, मैंने किसी की निंदा की गुरुजी के साथ, एंड कोई बैठा था, मैंने कुछ बोल दिया, याद नहीं क्या बोला, तो कहते एक चुप सो सुख सानू की, अपना देखो, किसी की निंदा न करो। मैंने पता है निंदा बड़ी गंदी चीज होती है, बड़े प्यार से समझाते थे, बड़े मतलब ऐसे in such a compassionate fatherly manner, you know, कि निंदा नहीं करी दी, ओदे मारे कर्म लैके तुसी अपने चंगे कर्म दे दे। सो हिसाब किताब बड़ा खराब हो जाता है। So little things, एक चुप सौ सुख, नल के मन होए चंगा ते नलके दा पानी भी गंगा। I really feel that whatever he taught me then, or taught all of us then, who were there in the physical, it was so we can impart that knowledge and wisdom. So I'm truly, deeply, profoundly grateful to him that he gave me those teachings, because he's also given me the wisdom to apply them in my life. I've been a student of Guruji who's always trying to remember what he said and implement them. Like gratitude. He said, na shukrana nahi hoita, shukr kare har cheez da. And this is something that, you know, it resonated with me so much, his teachings, because my mother was the same. She was from Amritsar, raising me in Manchester, UK, with a native language, native Punjabi language. You know, even though we picked up, of course, English in school, but at home, mom would only speak to us in Punjabi. And she would also impart small teachings, you know, like this, like Guruji used to, ke hamesha daya rakhi di hai, and changa rahida, man hoye changa te nalke da pani vi ganga, किसी का दिल नहीं दुखाएगा, किसी का मारा नहीं कर, किसी का मारा चंगा नहीं कर सकते तो मारा भी ना करो, किसी का चंगा नहीं बोल सकते तो मारा भी ना बोलो. So, and these teachings especially became handy here in India, with so much discrimination and disparity in society. He taught me how to really address even those who are underprivileged, who are, you know, working for us domestically also in the house. He taught me. He said, Amisha, changi tarah bole da. There's no need. The same, you know, we can say the same thing in a compassionate manner. Why shout? So he said, blood pressure nahi apna high karega. So little things which are so applicable and so practical. Therefore, he used to say, main practical guru haan. I don't give you any summons. I don't give you discourses, because main practical tonu badal raha. And he said, तुहाडी बीमारियां ठीक करना तो नीता मेरे वास्ते मामूली चीज सी. Like when he said to, you know, bathroom di batti na band kar, to पिछले साल फिर astrologer को गई सी. So I was sheepish. I said, Guruji, astrologer तो कहते हाँ मैंने पता है तू बड़ा भटक चुकी है, बहुत astrologer को गई है, बड़े बाबा और पंडित के चक्कर खा चुकी है, खून आई है तो सही जगह, पर तेरे astrologer ने किए क्या से पिछले साल. So before I could open my mouth, he himself completed the sentence and said, ਉਹਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਤੇਰੀ ਕੋਈ ਲਾਈਫ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ December 97 ਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ, ਉਹਨੇ ਸਹੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ, ਹੁਣ ਦੱਸ ਕੌਣ ਵੱਡਾ, ਤੇਰਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਜਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਐਸਟ੍ਰੋਲੋਜਰ. ਐਸਟ੍ਰੋਲੋਜਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਪੱਤਰੀ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਦੇਣਾ, ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲੇਖ ਬਦਲ ਦੇਣਾ, ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਕੌਣ ਵੱਡਾ. ਤੇ ਐਸਟ੍ਰੋਲੋਜਰ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਲਾ ਦੇਣੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸਟਾਰਸ, ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਹੱਥਾਂ ਦੇ ਲਕੀਰਾਂ, ਮੱਥੇ ਤੇ ਲਕੀਰਾਂ, ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਸਟਾਰਸ ਹੀ ਬਦਲਤੇ ਨੇ, which he has. Today I speak being completely detached from the Anita that was there 20 years ago, 25, whatever it was. I have a lot of compassion for that Anita, because she had no wisdom, no love in her life. And one day he made a comment, because I do come from a family I'm the only daughter. And he said, tu do vadde karan di kalli thi hai, phir bhi tenu oh pyar nahi milya jo tenu milna chahiye si, hun main pyar karanga. So when he said that, it felt like, you know, it just felt like the love that I was missing in my life, he has more than compensated, more than. It's unquantifiable. The love our Guru gives us is unquantifiable, and no human can give you that love. It's not possible, because he fills us with oceans of love. And he said, for the drop of, you can just give me a drop of goodness for the ocean of blessings that I give you, in his words. कहते बस एक चंगा इंसान बन जा, तुसी मैनू दे की सकते हो, तू तो मेरा देनिया ही नहीं दे सकती, मैं तेरे से की नहीं करता, एक हफ्ता पूरा मैं बीमार रहा तेरे स्किन कैंसर वास्ते, तेरा स्किन कैंसर में ठीक किता, तेरा अस्थमा ठीक किता, तेनू पता मैं कितनी तकलीफ सही है, because he would take our karmic baggage onto himself. So he said, मैं कितना बीमार रहा एक हफ्ता. So who could do that? Give us a new life. He said, मैं तेनू नवी जिंदगी देती है, नवी skin देती है, which he did. I mean, as life unfolded, and in the passage of time, I realized that I can't even speak about the things he's given me, because he's transformed my life. And that's what Guruji does. He transforms our lives. He converts the ugly to beautiful. He converts the sorrow to joy. He converts the negative to positive. Today, even if I have a negative thought, he has given me the ability and the strength to convert it immediately and say, nay, things could have been worse. So this is how he's changed our mindset. कि नहीं, worse हो सकता था, तो इसलिए, लेकिन अब छोटे में काट किया, जो भी होता है हमारे साथ रोज. So हमारी कैसे सोच बदल दी, हमारे दुनिया देखने का नजरिया बदल दिया. Our perspective on things has changed, on every situation. And our priorities have changed. Today, as we know, it's a very festive time in India. I had a social, commitment also, because I wasn't able to commit to, sharing. But the priority is always named. Apni seva jo Guruji ne di hai, wo karni hai. So Guruji used to give that seva also. I feel, this is my interpretation, not necessarily the reality of all that is, but my interpretation is whatever he knew that person is capable of, only that he would give you that seva, because that is what enhances us. Because like he knew कि मैं kitchen में खड़े होके लंगर तो बना नहीं सकती, ऐसी बस switch ही नहीं है, and ऊपर बोलांगा चाय प्रसाद बनाने वास्ते या लंगर प्रसाद दे पसीने पसीने छूट जाने ने, तो वे मुझे बोल दिया एक हफ्ता पहले जाने से पहले, कहते तेरी सेवा तू सत्संग किता कर. But the funny side is that when he cured me of my skin, he said उन खड़े होके सुना सबनु कि किस्सा तेनू ठीक किता. So I always had stage fear, stage fright, and I could not speak a word. I was anyway an introvert back then. Because of my skin, I had lost my confidence in speaking. So I would keep myself to myself. I was a total introvert. And when he said, stand up for the first time and speak, I was tongue-tied. So I stood up and I said, Guruji ne theek kar diya, and baith gayi. Us time hum Jai Guruji nahi bolte the, but Guruji ne theek kar diya, and baith gayi. The Guruji looks at me, he said, kam liye, then ta satsang bhi nahi sunana aanda. I said, नहीं आता गुरुजी, और आगे से प्लीज बोलना भी नहीं, प्लीज मैं नहीं खड़ी हो सकती. It was a knee-jerking, experience, nerve-wracking experience. I was perspiring, I was really nervous. So I said, गुरुजी आगे से प्लीज सत्संग नहीं बोलना, अच्छा ठीक है. So 1 week before, he said, तेरी सेवा तू सत्संग कितना कर. So I said, गुरुजी आपने तो बोला था मुझे सत्संग नहीं करना आंदा. कहते किन्ने क्या तू करेंगे, तू सिर्फ खड़ी होएंगे, करांगा तब मैं. So he takes over everything. I feel every aspect of our lives, when we leave everything in his capable hands, then we find his capable hands in everything, in every aspect of our life. So share a very cute one. So I'll share first, I'll go back in time. But before that, after Guruji left his body, like before he left 1 week before, he said, tu wapas England chal ja. Now things which he says, whether he comes today in your dream or whether, he gives you an inner voice, because even now, Sangat is getting messages through him. And of course, by sharing and by listening to Shabad Gurbani, we get our messages. but he's really coming in people's dreams also to convey what he has to convey. So with me, he said, to England ja, wapas ja England, which didn't make sense to me at that time, because by the time I met Guruji and I became very happy to be in his lotus feet, I did not want to go back to England because I felt at home now. I felt this is it for me. This is my world. Especially coming for satsangs every evening to him was the only joy I had in my life. And I would look forward to it every day. You know, कि आज गुरुजी के पास जाना है. So that was my greatest joy in my life. And I would get ready and just go. Sometimes I would cheat. Most times I would cheat. He used to say, "Tu 7 baje aakar, फिर आ गई है 5 baje." So then he would call me in the room and pamper me, whatever. But I would not. I was like this stubborn child, or this hungry child, you could say, a needy child who wanted so much more love. So I would go at 5 and sheepishly sit outside Chota Mandir and hope he'll call me. And he would, because he was so compassionate and so full of love. But then one day I went early, and now I'm getting mixing the two. But he said to mummy di seva kar, jo maa baap di seva karda hai, or rab bada khush hunda hai. Jo maa baap di seva nahi karda, or rab kolo dur ho jata hai. So now coming back to, this was all the thing, and everything was foreign to me. I said, Guruji, mere bachche, हाँ उन्होंने अमेरिका भेज रहे हैं, उत्थे पढ़ेंगे, तू वापस जा इंग्लैंड, और इंग्लैंड जा और माँ दी सेवा कर. I said, okay. Didn't make sense to me at that time. But as life unfolded, it fell exactly the way Guruji had said. I actually left India in 2010, went back to England to take care of my mother. My daughters flew their nests and went to America to study. So everything that Guruji had said, it just fell into a sequence of events. Now coming back to when I used to cheat and I used to come early, despite being told to 7 baje aaya kar. One day I went early and Guruji said, Aaj andar. So he called me into his private room, and there was this beautiful lady sitting there, and she had a resplendent glow on her face. So it was Guruji sitting on his gaddi, I sitting far away, and this lady pressing Guruji's charan. So there was pin drop silence in the room throughout. And during that afternoon, the same afternoon, a friend of mine had come home, and she drank tea, and she kept the juta in front of Guruji's sarup. Back then, nobody was receptive to Guruji. They didn't know who Guruji was or what Guruji was. So I got very offended, and I said, Guruji ke samne na juta nahi rakhte. So she said, okay, no big deal. I don't know why you're getting offended, but theek hai. That evening, how Guruji showed me कि मैं दोपहर ਨੂੰ भी तेरे नाल सी, तेरे dining room ਵਿੱਚ. So in the evening, I went, and Guruji, I kept looking, staring, gazing at this wonderful woman who had this beautiful glow. And I just kept saying to myself, I wish I had a glow. I wish I was as beautiful as her. बस ये dialogue चलता गया मेरे head में. And Guruji that woman was pressing Guruji's feet. And then Guruji was smiling. And there was pin drop silence. And suddenly Guruji broke the smile and he says, Anita, chai prashad mangwawa? And I was looking at the woman and said, Hanji Guruji. Dhyan hi nahi tha Guruji ki taraf. Bilkul bhi nahi. I was gazing non-stop at that beautiful woman who'd come from Pakistan, was for the first time, and she was pressing Guruji's feet. Then we had chai prashad. Now that woman had chai prashad, and she came for the first time, so she didn't know protocol. So she had the chai prashad, and she kept the juta in front of Guruji's charan. So I got offended, but I said, "Amma kaun bolega?" You know, there's silence here. So I just said in my head, "Ki what a shameless woman." So from what a beautiful woman to what a shameless woman. अब मैं ध्यान नहीं दूंगी इसका. तो मैंने आंखें बंद कर ली. मैंने कहा अपनी ध्यान दूंगी इस पे. So Guruji was smiling even more now. And he goes, Anita, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਸਮਝਾ. ਗੁਰੂਆਂ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਝੂਠਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੱਖੇਦਾ. फिर तेरी ग्लो दे बारे गल करना, तेनू ग्लो चाहिए है. So I said, oh my God, he's been listening to my dialogue ever since I sat down. So I then looked at him. I said, Guruji, mujhe pata nahi. So I closed my eyes. I said, Guruji, mujhe pata nahi. I was so embarrassed. He said, nahi, glow jaydi hai. Te rab kolo rab mangla hai. Fir glow hi glow hai. So then in the passage of time, I understood there's a glow in every aspect of our lives. He adds, he permeates his glow, his grace into every aspect of our lives, whether it's finances, whether it's our health, mental health, whether it's our physical, everything. Because Guruji said, Nanak dukhiya sab sansar, koi na koi kasht har insan nu hunda hai. Is karke koi aanda hai. Mere ko pehle te tusi is karke aande ho na, problems hundiyan ne te. कि मेरा हस्बैंड ठीक नहीं है, वाइफ ठीक नहीं है, बच्चे नहीं सुनते हैं, जो भी है दुनिया की चीजें नानक दुखिया सब संसार. कोई हेल्थ इशू होती है, कोई फाइनेंशियल इशू होती है, कोई फिजिकल इशू होती है, कोई रिलेशनशिप इशू होती है, सबको है. इट्स ऑल अ कार्मिक बैगेज फ्रॉम मेनी लाइफ टाइम्स. सो कहते पहले तो तुसी सेल्फिश ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਆਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਸਿਰਫ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੰਮ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਦਿਖਨੇ ਆ, काम कर देगा साਡਾ. फिर हमारी स्पिरिचुअल जर्नी स्टार्ट होती है, हमारी अंदर की सफाई. जितना हम खाली होके आते हैं, इफ्स एंड बट्स छोड़ के आते हैं, जितना हम अपनी ईगो छोड़ देते हैं, पता है हमें कुछ नहीं पता. जब हम एक्चुअली कह देते हैं कि हमें कुछ नहीं पता है गुरुजी, जब बच्चे बन जाते हैं, हम जब भोले बन जाते हैं, जब एक्चुअली हम अपनी द रेन्स ऑफ आवर lives we hand over to him, then he really takes over and he gives us the best. He does so much of inner cleansing. जितने हमारे अंदर काम क्रोध लोभ मोह अहंकार ये नहीं है कि है नहीं, पर कम करते जाते हैं हमारे. he tampers them, he reduces them so that we can live the best life possible and be the best version of ourselves, be the most excellent version of ourselves, because he wants that. He wants each of us to work on ourselves, because God helps those who help themselves. He wants us to work on ourselves with heightened self-awareness. हमें पता होना चाहिए कि हमारे अंदर गुस्सा है, तो maybe we should surrender that. I had fears, a lot of fears, unfounded fears, mainly because from childhood I was in and out of hospitals. So I had a lot of fears in my life and a lot of insecurities related to my health, related to relationships, related to everything, related to the world. Actually, I was insecure about everything. But one day, when I became single again, and I remember my daughters were challenging me to travel alone. Alone means alone. Be in a city for 10 days, completely alone. And I had not done that. Today, it's like child's play. Back then, it was a big challenge. So they said, Mom, we're sending you to Spain. You're going to be staying in Madrid and Barcelona alone. This is your final test of being single again. We want you to build your confidence. This is your final test. I said, I cannot not take that challenge. So I went to Bade Mandir, I remember very clearly. This was back few years ago, I would say 10 years ago at least. And I sat there and I remember saying to Guruji, I'm fed up of myself. I'm fed up of my fears. Please, I surrender my fears to you and go with me to Spain. Because I know I'm going alone, but I'm not going alone. You're going with me. It was the best trip I've ever had. And that really enabled me to build my confidence and build my self-esteem once again. And I know for a fact, factually, that Guruji's gone nowhere. Guruji's here. We just need to have that absolute trust and faith that he's here. If we have even an iota of doubt, कि हाँ मैं बोल रही हूँ ये, Guruji, I'm giving you this prayer, but are you really listening? Then we're negating that trust. But saying that, Guruji, I know you're listening, it gets manifested, it gets answered. Something happens, some Sangat will say something, and I'll say, oh, that's the thought I was having. But like you said, अपना मन साफ रखो, सोच साफ रखो, चंगा इंसान बनो. That's something we have to work on, because only we know what our shortcomings are. Only we know. People around us, we can portray an image. We can pretend to be really good human beings, but we know how good or bad we are. We know how much judgment or criticism we have. Like Guruji said, ABC na kitta karo. Accuse, blame, criticize. So We know what kind of nature we have, right? So jab hame pata hai, so it's important. It's our moral duty to ourselves and for others, because what happens, you lead by example. You don't lead by words. You lead by example. Nobody became a leader by words. They become by example, by living it, by being it. We have to be Guruji's teachings. We have to live Guruji's teachings, not theoretically, but practically. That's why he said, "Main practical Guru hu." ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬਦਲ, he said, ਮੇਰੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਕੈਂਸਰ, ਡਿਵੋਰਸ, ਐਸਥਮਾ, ਇਹ ਸਭ ਮੇਰੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਮਾਮੂਲੀ ਕੰਮ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਠੀਕ ਕਰਨਾ ਮੁਸ਼ਕਿਲ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੁਧਾਰਦੇ. So what I understood is, from our every thought, word and action is karma we're creating. Thought is, you know, हम जज कर रहे हैं, criticize कर रहे हैं, blame कर रहे हैं. अपने head में कितनी dialogues होते हैं, and are they negative or are they positive? So awareness is very important, which I learned, which Guruji has given me the gift of awareness. Awareness of even gratitude every moment. He's taught me कि moment to moment gratitude should be there. ना शुक्राना नहीं होता, complain नहीं करेगा, शुक्र करो, फिक्र ना करो, जिक्र करते रहो, रब नु याद करते रहो, हर पल याद करो, हर पल याद करो, और रब नु प्यार करो, रब को डरो नहीं. हमें बचपन से सिखाया जाता है, be God fearing. But then Guruji converted it and said, be God loving. Rab nu pyar karo. If we love our God the way he loves us, then life is, Guruji ne yahi swarg de diya hमें. Yahi swarg hai actually. Agar swarg hamare andar hi hai, aur narak bhi hamare andar hai. वो नरक को निकालना और स्वर्ग में बढ़ना है. So that is the greatest gift is given me, to appreciate life. There was a time when I didn't want to live. How he converted that thought. I didn't want to live because I was always suffering. I was always in hospitals. I was on steroids. My weight was totally like lopsided. I was, you know, growing in size, my skin, my hair, my marriage, everything was collapsing around me. Why would I want to live? I mean, I had two beautiful daughters who were toddlers at that time. It was a struggle to raise them. I was not doing justice. I had no life purpose. So, but see how Guruji transforms everything. He gives each one of us a life purpose. And what is the life purpose? Satsang kar, seva kar, simran kar, gupt paat kar, gupt daan kar. He's given us a direction. He's given us a sense of purpose, a meaning to our lives. I had no sense of purpose. Chal kitabe likh la, chal satsang kitta kar, ye kar. Now I'm busy. I had nothing to do. From being idle-minded and thinking negative all the time. Now I don't have a minute to myself, which is so beautiful. Pata hi nahi chalta time kahan ja raha hai. So isn't that beautiful? I look back and I say, oh my God, 10 years have gone by, 20 years have gone by. Where's time gone? Whereas earlier I used to count the minutes. Okay, why am I on earth? Why am I even alive? And Guruji, when he healed me, he said something very profound. He said, कि मैं तेनू नवी जिंदगी देती है, तेनू ना अगे जाके समझ आएगी क्यों देती है, फिर तेनू खुशी मिलेगी. Because they knew I didn't know how to be happy. So every time he'd see me, he said, तू खुश रहा कर, तू खुश रहा कर. I said, गुरुजी कैसे? धीरज रख, सबर रख और शुक्र करती रह. So sabr is something which I learned as a child, because like I said, I had no idea how long I would be in hospitals for as a 2-year-old or 3-year-old. So patience was my key, because my mother always used to say, "Tere wakan, you know, sabar wala bachcha nahi kadi dekha." With this 5 of us, but she always said, out of the 5 siblings, you are the most patient. I had to be. I had no choice, because I was always literally thrown into the hospital for days, weeks, months sometimes, because of the hole in the heart. So sabr was something that became very easy, and Guruji knew that. He said, "Tere andar sabr bahut hai. Shukr kitta kar, lekin khush raha kar." And khush to mujhe pata hi nahi tha what it meant. But if you saw sadness in a dictionary, you'd probably see my description, my face there. So because I was very sad as a human, I was very kind of negative. I was sad. There was no ray of hope for me, for my health, for my marriage. I just felt maybe all marriages are bad. You know, people are meant to suffer from being with each other. My whole concept of certain things was just negative, pure negative. And Guruji, and today what I am is not what I was yesterday. It was not what I was before I met Guruji. he literally spring cleans us, spring cleans our lives, and gives us a new garb, literally. New physical, mental, emotional. I don't recognize that woman. And I'm grateful to him, eternally grateful. Satsang to every moment, honestly. Life is a satsang now as we know it. And there are no words, words fall short. Because then I had breast cancer 3 times after Guruji left his body. And then I know for a fact, though I had it in 2012, till 14, like he said, मैं 90% ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕਰਮ ਆਪਣੇ ਤੇ ਲੈ ਲੈਣਾ, 10% ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਝੇਲਣਾ ਪੈਂਦਾ. So that prick of a needle sometimes is like a, piercing sword. So, but it was painful because I kept getting the tumor one after another. Why it was more painful psychologically, because my dad died of cancer. My grandmother, all paternal family was wiped out with cancer. So I just felt this is the end, not a bend, but the end. So I really felt that this is it for me. The 3rd time I got the tumor. But I'm here. So, he has bigger, better plans. That's why he says, surrender kar jao. Because hum pata hi nahi. His plans are better than our plans. I was already planning my death. I was probably writing my will. And he said, he must have been laughing. I know. That's why leave it to me. Don't plan your life. And who are we to plan? I don't know what I planned. And then the pandemic came. I was in a lockdown. I was actually traveling because Guruji's given me this beautiful seva. I really respect and appreciate it because that's what is my fuel also, to travel and share satsangs. So I was in Bombay, Pune, then Anishka, my elder daughter, said, Mom, since you're in Bombay, fly to Dubai. I did, and there was a lockdown, world lockdown. So I was in Dubai for 2 years. I'd never planned that, but he planned it. He knew I needed to be with my children in Dubai. So all 3 of us were together, me and my daughters. So he micromanages our lives. Had I come back from Pune and Bombay back to Delhi, and the world lockdown was announced, I would not have seen my daughters for a year at least. So how he micromanages our lives. We are not capable of micromanaging our lives. He is way beyond. He said, har yug vich koi na koi avatar aaya. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੁੱਲੇ ਪਲਾਇਓ, ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਦਾ ਚੋਲਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਣਾ ਪਿਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਦੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਖਾਸ ਸਮਝਦੀ ਕਿ ਪੈਸਾ ਰੱਬ ਹੈ, ਰੱਬ ਦੀ ਤਾਂ ਕਦਰ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਰੱਬ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਯਾਦ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ. And this is not just Delhi. I've traveled the world. I see it in England also. Wherever there's a high society, money is God. पैसे वाले को सलूट करेंगे, जिसके पास मर्सिडीज है सलूट करेंगे. रब को सलूट ही नहीं है और अच्छे इंसान की कदर नहीं है, अच्छाई की कदर नहीं है. But what he's taught me collectively, if we all become good, imagine what a beautiful world we live in. Collectively, not singularly. One human being cannot change the world. But each human being, if we start changing ourselves for the better, start embracing the world, being inclusive, then those conflicts that are happening currently in the world, we can change that energy. Because the energy is negative. The vibration of the earth is very low. Therefore, the conflicts that are happening, unjust is happening. And we know what's going on and it hurts. But जब हम सरबत दा बला मांगे, तो गुरुजी कहते हैं अपने से तो सब मांगते हैं, दूसरे वसे मांग के देखो कितने आनंद मिलता है. Truly, when we ask गुरुजी कि गुरुजी सरबत दा बला करो और सबकी बुद्धि अच्छी रखो, सबको अच्छी बुद्धि दो. There is no such thing as religion. Guruji has taught us that. That is spirituality, your value system, which counts. Not religion. Religion builds walls. Spirituality breaks those walls and embraces oneness. So these are all man-made ideologies. So Guruji said, one day he was reading and he said, Tenu pata hai religion kyun hunda hai? And I don't know because I'm not a religious person. I'm actually raised as a spiritual person. So he said, he was introducing me to, not to names drop, but just sharing the way it is. Menaka Gandhi, then he said, "Meri khas kudi hai, to badi spiritual hai." So I said, wow, I was very impressed. I said, Guruji, Menaka Gandhi bahut spiritual hai. Kendi kamli main tenu keh raha tu spiritual hai. So then again, I was all very young, as I said. So I said, Guruji, वो अच्छी बात होती है कि बुरी बात होती है? कहते बड़ा चंगा है. Then he read excerpts from Quran, Bible, Gita. The essence is one. God is love. Compassion, humility, humanity. It's all one. But man-made ideologies, politics, has created so much divide and ugliness. And it's divided all of us. What's happening today in the conflict could happen to us. We're all part of that same humanity. So it's very important. It's our moral duty to pray for those also who are suffering and losing their lives needlessly. We are them. Maybe at one Janam, I was a Muslim. Maybe in one Janam, I was a British. Who knows? Because they say that we have lived so many lives. So it's not just this myopic vision of this life. We have changed garbs also. We have changed our physical appearances also. Therefore, Guruji used to say, all is one, sarbat da mala jarur mango. क्योंकि selfish होके सिर्फ अपने वस्ते नहीं मांगे था. कल्याण करो गुरुजी, सबका कल्याण करो, जगत कल्याण करो. Because Guruji is one for everyone. He's showering his grace on everyone. May he continue to do that. May continue to give everything that matters, that counts. Because he said, जो तुसी मंगदे हो ना, वो इत्थे ही रह जाना है. नाम दी कमाई नाल जानी है बस. बाकी सब कुछ इत्थे ही रह जाना है. मैनू नवा मकान, मैनू नवा बच्चा, मैनू ये वो. कहते तो दुनिया दी चीजां ने, तो वैसे तुहाडे पिछे पिछे दौड़ेगी अगर तुसी असली चीज मंग लोगे ते. रब को लो, रब मंग लो. And that connectivity when we have, we can be anywhere. We can go to bada mandir, chota mandir, no mandir, mani mandir. Guruji कहंदे कार बैठ के याद करो, गुरु ते तुहाडे नाल बैठा है. तो मनी मंदिर, कमरा मंदिर, घर मंदिर. Today I feel my home is my greatest mandir. I don't feel like going anywhere. सत्संग हम जाते हैं because वो हमारी classroom है. When we go to satsang, I see others closing their eyes, they're closing for 2 hours. I learn something from them. It's a classroom. We learn from each other. And we learn discipline. We learn from the Gurbani. We have our Langar Prashad. But if we create that at home, it's there at home also. Bhog laga lo ghar mein. We learned that in the pandemic. कि Guruji कहंदे एक दिन ऐसा हमारा time आएगा तो मैंने कार बैठ के याद करोगे. वो याद आ गया. When I was in Dubai, I had one chair in my room and I kept Guruji's Sarup, like the diya. We weren't allowed to go out. So Guruji तब भी वहाँ थे. तब आज भी यहाँ है. गुरुजी कहते पहले भी मैं ऐसे, हुण भी मैं, अगे भी मैं. तो मैं ही मैं अलग अलग रूप विच आना, लेकिन हमेशा तुहाडे नाल आ. हमें कभी नहीं छोड़ेंगे वो. एंड हमारी औकात क्या है कि हम उनको छोड़ेंगे. कभी कोई फिर लाइफ ही नहीं रहेगी. वो तो हमारे ऑक्सीजन है, हमारी ब्रेथ है. तो जितना प्यार करेंगे गुरुजी को, उतना कनेक्टेड फील करेंगे. एंड यस, जैसे हम अपने पेरेंट्स को भी वंस अ वीक जाते ही थे ना मिलने, ऐसे मंदिर जाना जरूरी है. बिकॉज वंस अ वीक मिलना बहुत जरूरी है कि हेलो करना गुरुजी को. तो इसलिए जाते हैं बड़े मंदिर या सत्संग. बिकॉज वो फिर एक डिसिप्लिन मैनर में हम बैठते हैं. फिर घर में डिस्ट्रैक्शंस ज्यादा होती हैं, तो सत्संग जाना बैठना डिसिप्लिन फैशन में बहुत जरूरी है. बिकॉज हम बहुत कुछ सीख के आते हैं, लेकिन वही ना छोड़ के आ जाए. गुरुजी कहते जो तुसी बाहर दुनिया विच, your conduct is tested in the real world, not in a satsang. I remember when एक लेडी आई और मत्था टेकी और गुरुजी कहते ले 2 मिनट की ह्यूमिलिटी दिखा रही उन्हें तो सब ना लड़के आई है कार. तो and then one lady came another occasion and मत्था टेका and गुरुजी कहते 9 बज गए ने, कार चूल्हा नहीं चलाना सी ते इस करके आ गई खाना खान. तो आप किस भाव से जा रहे हैं गुरुजी के पास, क्यों जा रहे हैं? अपने सेल्फ इंप्रूवमेंट के लिए, सचमुच खाना खाने से के लिए जा रहे हैं, या सोशल नेटवर्किंग के लिए जा रहे हैं? गुरुजी ने खुद ही अपनी ह्यूमर में बताया. ह्यूमरस तो बहुत है गुरुजी. कहते सुंगा डूंगा चुंगा उंगा. तो कोई आंदे ने सुंगन दे ते मुझे कहते तू केरी कैटेगरी च है. मैं हंसने लगी. मैं कहा मुझे नहीं पता गुरुजी, आपको पता है ना, आपको ज्यादा पता है मैं कौन सी कैटेगरी में. तो हंसने लगे. तो इसलिए गुरुजी कहते राम को खिलौना जाना. आज बहुत कुछ हो रहा है. ऑब्वियसली होगा भी, नेचुरल है, क्योंकि संगत बहुत बढ़ गई है. तो एकता नहीं होंगे. सब क्लासरूम में जा रहे हैं पर एक क्लासरूम में नहीं है. अलग अलग फॉर्म्स में, अलग अलग लेवल्स में, व्हिच इज फाइन. गुरुजी कहते ना अलग अलग तुसी क्लासरूम विच हो, अलग अलग स्पिरिचुअल लेवल्स पे हो, कौन किस लेवल पे है वो मेरे ते छड़ दो, पर एटलीस्ट हम क्लासरूम में आ गए हैं, एटलीस्ट वो स्कूल में आ गए हैं, द स्कूल दैट मैटर्स। सो स्कूल पहुंच गए, क्लासरूम किस क्लासरूम में है वो गुरुजी को पता है, पर अपना अच्छा करते रहो। एंड पीस ऑफ माइंड के लिए गुरुजी ने हमेशा कहा था, एटलीस्ट आई डोंट नो इफ इट्स यूनिवर्सल, पर मुझे कहा था तू शिव पुराण पढ़िया कर, तू मैनू एक घंटा बैठ के कार भी याद किया कर, चलते फिरते भी याद कर, चलते फिरते भी तेरे अंदर पाठ चलते रहना चाहिए, ओम नमः शिवाय, शिव जी सरसा, जो मंत्र गुरु ने दिया होता है आपको वो इवोक करके वो इमोशंस भी इवोक होते हैं, and we invoke that energy, that Shiv energy. So there's a very profound meaning of why your guru gives you the mantra. And वो हमारे कर्म करते हैं, जितना हम रिसाइट करते हैं, जितना बोलते हैं, उससे हमारे कर्म सुधरते हैं। सो सत्संग ही सत्संग है। को अपना लास्ट ईयर का बता देती हूँ, लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट। सो कोविड हुआ मुझे पहली बार 2 साल पहले, एंड देन लास्ट ईयर फिर हो गया, और जब हुआ तो इट वाज वेरी बैड। द सेकंड कोविड इन फैक्ट वाज वर्स देन द फर्स्ट बिकॉज वीकनेस बहुत हो गई, एंड देन आई स्टार्टेड ट्रैवलिंग व्हिच आई शुडंट हैव डन, बट व्हाटएवर, आई ट्रैवल्ड, एंड देन मुझे वर्टिगो शुरू हो गया एज अ रिजल्ट, बिकॉज आई वाज स्टिल, माय बॉडी वाज स्टिल वल्नरेबल एंड वीक, and that vertigo then lasted. I mean, I'm taking medication for that. But again, गुरुजी ने मिनिमाइज कर दिया वो सफरिंग। होता है, कभी होता है, कभी नहीं होता। मेडिसिन तो रोज ले रही हूँ। आई डोंट रिमेम्बर द सत्संग इन दिस, बट या इट्स ओके। आई मीन सत्संग होगा जब ठीक होगा तो आई एम श्योर ठीक करेंगे गुरुजी, बिकॉज इट टुक ओवर माई लाइफ। आई कुड नॉट ट्रैवल फॉर अ व्हाइल। For 3-4 months, though, I was completely grounded in Delhi, which is very uncharacteristic of my life. But even, no, so what I learned, I have to tell you my learning. So my learning was, कि तू बाहर नहीं जा सकती हूँ, अंदर जा. So what I learned actually is that we are all in this rat race on the treadmill of life, running, racing. But in those 4 months that I was in Delhi and I was grounded, I became calmer because I was doing a lot of Gurbani listening at home, and I was doing a lot of introspection. Where else do I need to change myself? Working on myself. So that was the most beautiful part. I realized Guruji wants me to do that. That sit, reflect, introspect, soul search. Don't just keep running on the outside. Now it's about the outside in. Go in now and just see.
Uncle, please see this message.
What happened? So yeah, I guess each one of us is responsible for our own lives, and we need to help God to help us. And in the end, to have that complete trust that Guruji is always with us. Never have that doubt that is he there? Just say, Guruji, hi. And chalte firde yaad karo, like he said, मैं तोड़ा best friend है, मैं तोड़े father हूँ, mother हूँ, मैं सब कुछ हूँ आपका. He really is everything rolled in one. So yes, thank you, Jai Guruji. Thank you for enabling me to share. I've been talking for almost an hour. I didn't realize.
Yeah, almost an hour. Because the way connect happens is also that sometimes you have not seen a person in years, and I was not writing for good 18 years, right? So one of the Sangat members told me, Anita Aunty ने किताब लिखी है, you know how to write, तुम वापस लिखना क्यों नहीं शुरू करते? So I wrote, and since that time I've been writing. So I can always find this occasion also an occasion to thank you for inspiring, howsoever indirectly it may be. And
thank you.
I say by this thing कि तेरी अजमतों का जिक्र करने को लिखता हूँ, तेरी अजमतों का जिक्र करने को लिखता हूँ, तेरी रहमतों का शुक्र करने को लिखता हूँ. तू ही एक देखता है अच्छी बसर हो जाए सबकी, तू ही एक देखता है अच्छी बसर हो जाए सबकी, जाहिर तेरी ये मेहर सब पर करने को लिखता हूँ, जाहिर
Wow.
तेरी मेहर सब पे करने को लिखता हूँ. So keep on writing. That's the seva that is given to people who can do this. किचन में जाके लंगर बनाने की सेवा उन लोगों को दी है वो काम बेहतरीन करते हैं, सर्व करने की उनको दी है जो वो काम बेहतरीन करते हैं. So Suresh uncle is doing his part of the seva. So each one of us do the duties that our Almighty Guruji has assigned us, and we should do it honestly, sincerely, and with full force. Thank you, Anita Aunty.
Jai
Suresh uncle.
Guruji, Jai Guruji Maharaj. I'll be requesting Bambi Singh Aunty ji, please. Over to you, Aunty.
Okay, yeah.
Hello. Hi, can you hear me?
You are audible, Aunty.
Hanji, Hanji.
It is so good to hear your Satsang, Anita. It's always so lively. You've always been such a wonderful person. And it is really wonderful to know you then and know you now and see how many blessings and how much pampering Guruji has done with you. That is something envious. Always. No.
So lovely to see.
मेरे को गुरुजी से डांट दिलवाई हुई है. एक दफा हम लोग बैठे हुए थे एम्पायर स्टेट में, हम दोनों इकट्ठे बैठे हुए थे और बहुत कम संगत गुरुजी ने उस दिन बुलाई हुई थी, तो ये कुछ ना कुछ भूल ही जाए, तो मैं इसको कोनी मारूं कि चुप कर जा अनीता, गुरुजी देख रहे हैं, चुप कर जा अनीता, गुरुजी देख रहे हैं. फिर थाली आई, गुरुजी ने प्रसाद देना शुरू किया, सबको दिया, अनीता को भी दिया. जब मेरी बारी आई और अनीता प्रसाद लेके बाहर चली गई, बाहर होता था ना पानी का टैंक, तो जब मेरी बारी आई कहंदा गुरुजी कहंदे चंगा होंदा ना कि तू चुप रहंदी ते मेरा नाम लेंदी, बातें करने की की जरूरत है, बातें अनीता कर रही थी और डांट मेरे को उस दिन पड़ी है और मैं उनको देखूं that I know you know then why are you scolding me, but I didn't say anything and I went and said Anita thanks, I got a good scolding from Guruji thanks to you. Wonderful memories.
Really cherishable.
Yes. And it's wonderful, Anita, how you not only have evolved as a person. I mean, I'm nobody to say the level, but I'm just saying how you have impacted so many people through your satsangs and through your constant devotion to Guruji, whether it's your staff, your children, the Sangat, how many people who know about me because of you, because you mentioned, and they will come up and say, you know, Anita Aunty, we really love her and we love the way she does satsang and we love the way she loves Guruji. And that is something not everybody can have. That is not something, no, sorry. That is something that everybody can have, but does not have. And that is your glow.
Love
That
you. It's thanks to
glow from
you.
within. No, it's only a zarya.
It's
But
totally
what you
thanks
did,
to you.
look, one can open doors, but one cannot make you do what you have done with yourself, your relationship with Guruji, Guruji's blessings of you, and your understanding of Guruji. Nobody else can. You were open for him. He used to say, na, ke, tusi khali gade wangaro, and I have to clean you up and fill you up. I fill you up, then you go and get dirty, and you come back, and I have to clean you up again. But you have beautifully absorbed everything that he has put into you. So you glow from within out. And that is a more beautiful glow than all the pochas that everybody puts on top.
I always say, Guruji, आप ही botox कर दो. अपने प्यार से, अपनी मेहर से.
No. So
Maybe
it's
never
wonderful.
needed.
Don't need all that. Don't need all that.
No.
Yeah, Guruji takes care of every side, everywhere we need to. And you know, a lot of times the Sangat that have met him say things like, पर गुरुजी ने ए किया सी, गुरुजी ने किया सी, मैं तुम्हारे नाल हाँ, ते ए टाइम हो जाएगा. What, through my experiences also, I have understood is that you will go through what you go, but you will always have his backing. And so
Yes.
Guru Sahib Ji will make you go through whatever your karma is.
Yeah.
Because Guruji used to say na कि
ਇੱਥੇ ਕੱਟ ਲਓ।
ਕੰਡਿਆਂ ਵਾਲਾ ਪੇੜ ਕੰਡਿਆਂ ਵਾਂਗਰ ਕੰਡਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਪੇੜ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, means a thorn ਵਾਲਾ ਪੇੜ। ਪਰ ਜੋ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਕੰਡੇ ਕੱਟ ਦੇਣਾ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਜਦ ਉਹ ਉਸ ਕਰਮ ਦੇ ਪੇੜ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਜਾਣ, they just get nipped, they don't get hurt.
Wow.
Yeah.
How nice.
Yes. So
How
Guruji
beautifully
loved
expressed.
all of us so beautifully.
Yes.
That thank you for the wonderful satsang. I really enjoyed it, and it's lovely
Thank
to also
you.
hear from you.
I can't thank you enough.
I can't thank you also.
Love
Please
you.
don't.
Love
Love
you.
you.
Bye. God bless.
You
I was with
too.
your daughter last night, but this is not the
All of
platform
you.
to tell you that. I said I was with your daughter last night, but this is not the platform to tell you that.
Yes, yes, please. No, our daughters are very close friends. They've studied together. So Guruji used to also tie these two together.
Yes.
So a lot of times Guruji has put one with the other to pull them out of situations, and they both are very naughty girls in the good sense. And so, bas pure and wonderful girls,
Lovely. They
which
are.
Guruji has given us. Chalo, thank you so much.
Jai Guruji
Thank you.
Maharaj.
Jai
Sangat ji, from this platform, I wish to inform all the Guru Parivar, coming Saturday, we are going to have a beautiful session, recitation and narration of chapters from Guruji Maharaj book, authored by Bambi Aunty ji. It's a very divine book, and let's hope maximum Sangha joins it and enjoys the blessings of Guruji Maharaj. And I'll be thanking Anita Aunty, Bambi Aunty, Akash Sethi uncle, all of you for sharing your respective satsangs. With this, I'll request host to take Agya from Guruji Maharaj.
जय
जय गुरु जी। शुक्राना गुरु जी। थैंक यू गुरु जी।
जय
शुक्राना गुरु जी।
जय गुरु जी।
गुरु जी शुक्राना गुरु जी।
शुक्राना
जय गुरु जी।
शुक्राना गुरु जी। थैंक यू नीता आंटी, थैंक यू बेबी आंटी, नाइस टू सी यू।
जय गुरु जी।
जय गुरु जी। शुक्राना।
जय गुरु जी। आज्ञा गुरु जी।
जय गुरु जी। शुक्राना गुरु जी। जय गुरु जी। आज्ञा गुरु जी।